It's the Best Damn Sports Show podcast with your hosts, Jason Cahill and Bernie Kim.
Welcome to the Best Damn Sports Show podcast. I'm Jason Cahill.
And I'm Bernie, and let me say, I still love the fact that Chuck D says both of our names.
It is pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, you know what? We need to get Chuck D on the podcast one of these days because he's a huge sports fan.
Yeah,
really knowledgeable and a pretty cool guy.
Knows his stuff.
And he said both of our names.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Street cred.
Street
We
cred.
have street cred. So we're going to get to our guest in just a few minutes. We have Mark Grace on the podcast today, so that should be pretty entertaining. First up, if you want to email us, as always, it's bestdampodcast@yahoo.com. That's bestdampodcast@yahoo.com. Bernie, the emails have been flooding in.
I can't believe Yahoo's going to get pissed soon because we're taking up too much space.
We got an email from Yahoo saying that they might need to shut the account down because of an overflow.
Unbelievable.
Right. That's actually not. It's not true.
The opposite of that, actually. They're saying, should we delete this account because there's no activity?
Did you believe it for even 1 second when I said that?
No, I did not, no.
So here's what we're going to do. For those of you who've been listening to the podcast since day one, you'll remember that we made an offer to people if they wanted to email us at bestdampodcast@yahoo.com, $10 to the first person who emailed us. And sure enough, we got,
Several emails.
Several emails.
Yeah.
I couldn't even count the emails on two hands. I would have to use the toes as well. That's how many emails we got. And somebody, I sent them a crisp $10 bill. Fact, that happened. So here's what I think we're going to do. We need to make another offer to people to get the fans emailing. I think that, maybe people listening to the podcast, they think they're never going to respond to the email. Sure, I can send one in, but why waste the time? I'm not going to get a response back. Let me assure you, we will respond and do respond to every email we get. So here's the offer I make to you. We always have great athletes, great celebrities on the Best Damn Sports Show, in addition to our talent, Chris Rose and John Sally and Carissa Thompson. So here's the offer I make to you. The first person to email us at bestdampodcast@yahoo.com, you will get a phone call from one of the athletes or celebrities we have on Best Damn Sports Show next week. I can't think of a better offer to
That's
make.
a great deal. How often do you get the chance to have a professional athlete call you on
Or
yourself?
a celebrity? Who knows? You could be sitting at work one day and Gary Payton gives you a call.
Vern Troyer could give you a call.
He could.
It could happen.
Yeah, why pass up that opportunity? All you need to do, send us an email, obviously include your phone number, and that could happen to you. We make dreams come true here on the podcast.
It's a great deal. We try to reward the listener.
Exactly. We try.
We will. We will.
All right, so Bernie, before we get to our first guest, every so often on the show, we have bloopers, things go wrong, things that eventually do not make air. They're left on the cutting room floor, so to speak. One of the funniest things that happened recently. I think it's one of those things where it's tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Yeah.
It's funny now. Back when it happened, maybe not so funny. Although
I thought it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. So here's what happened. We were doing an interview with Darryl Strawberry on remote, and Gary Payton had a question for Darryl about the '86 Mets and how crazy those guys were and what it was like being in the clubhouse with the rest of the guys on that team. And we're going to play for you now. This has never been heard before because it was cut out of the show. So you're hearing it now for the first time on the Best Damn Sports Show podcast. This is Gary Payton's question to Darryl Strawberry.
Hey, Darryl, this is Gary Payton. You guys, y'all was great on the field, crazy off the field. You just like me, though. I'm crazy off the field, too. So, I party. Y'all party all night. And, y'all had fights. Y'all did everything. You know what I'm saying? It was being crazy. Tell me about it.
Being crazy. Tell me about it. That's my favorite all-time question asked by any person on our show to any guest.
I agree.
Show.
I can't remember the last time that I've seen a question. I've seen that clip maybe a dozen times, and it makes me laugh every time. Because I actually wrote that question, and you write, when you have guest hosts and even for regular hosts, you just write a short version of a question, hope that they can improv a little and say it in their voice. Gary, I think, got a little lost in that question and didn't really know where he was going.
Now, I will say this about Gary. Gary he's now guest hosted the show countless times, and he's leagues better than he was, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Right when he started out. So his interviewing skills have gotten a lot better. This was at the beginning. This was right when Gary first started guest hosting, and that's a gem right there.
Oh, it's the greatest. Right from the beginning, I think he didn't realize it was his turn to ask a question, so he just goes, hey, hey. That was being crazy. Tell me about that.
Tell me about that. And Daryl's got the look on Daryl's face is one of confusion, of course, at first. But then I think Daryl actually, he gets what Gary's asking and answers the question that we'd always intended to ask. It's really, really good.
I love Gary. He's the best.
He is the best. He is the best. Hey, so one of the things we got going on this week, we're not taping Best Damn Shows because what we're doing is we are compiling a behind-the-scenes show of the Hooters pageant, and that's going to air next week. And, hours and hours of footage that we filmed down in Florida. We were taping the Hooters pageant, and it's all coming to you in the form of a behind-the-scenes show. That's
Hooters Uncovered.
Uncovered is what they're calling
I believe it's going to premiere on the 21st, and there's literally, I don't know, I would have to say dozens of hours of footage that we have, and we have to whittle it down to 42 minutes. And
usually with a show like that, you have dozens of hours of footage, and really only like one or two are good. Here, there are dozens of hours of great footage, and it's really cool stuff that I don't think you really get the chance to see anywhere else. And trust me, when we say it's uncovered, it really is.
It's good stuff.
You're getting some great behind-the-scenes dirt, so definitely tune in for that next week. Bernie, what do you say we get to our first guest right now? Let's do it. He is the Diamondbacks broadcaster. He is one of the real characters of the game, and he had the most hits of any baseball player in the 90s. Did you know that, Bernie?
It's impressive.
Impressive, yes. And one of our favorites here at Best Damn, so let's say hello to D-backs broadcaster, Mark Grace. Welcome to the Best Damn Sports Show podcast. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Hey, so we will get to baseball in 1 second, but I got to ask your thoughts on everything that's been going on with Brett Favre and the trade to New York.
I just think it probably could have been handled much better by both sides. It ended up being like two little fourth-grade girls bickering over the good-looking Johnny in the desk up front. I think Brett put him in a bad position, and then they made a bad position much worse by with their actions. So, good for Brett and all that, and good for the New York Jets, and hopefully it works out good for everybody.
Grace, did you see his press conference this morning? Because it looks like he's kind of, the reality is sinking in that he's now not on the Packers anymore. And it looks like he's kind of like forcing smiles. I feel like he wants to back out already.
I did not see his press conference because I quit caring about a month ago. But it wouldn't shock me. Let's put it this way. Toto, we ain't in Kansas anymore. Favre, as good as he is, he'll throw up, 3 or 4 really bad games in a year, and in Green Bay, it's like, oh, that's okay, Brett, we still love you. It ain't going to be that way in New York. I mean, the New York press will try to make his life miserable. That's the way they are. And so be careful what he asks for. By the same token, if he has a great year, he's even more the king of the king of the NFL.
Exactly. Hey, so opening ceremonies start tonight for the Olympics. Are you going to be watching, and what events are you most looking forward to seeing?
I won't be watching because I'll be working tonight, the Diamondbacks Braves game. But my things are more I love the track and field, the basketball, the gymnastics. As far as the the archery and stuff like that doesn't really enthrall me too much. But the but the events, all the track and field stuff I love, and of course, the basketball will certainly intrigue me as well.
Hey, Gracie, if you could compete in one Olympic event, not baseball, what would it be?
If I could compete, well, I'll tell you what, the swimming, and by the way, I forgot the swimming. I like the swimming events too. I would probably say basketball, definitely basketball, just because it's our sport and we deserve the gold medal, and those boys need to beat those teams that made them look bad. Like we owe Greece one, we owe Argentina one, Brazil. We owe those teams. So I would want to do the basketball team.
All right, hey, let's talk baseball. I want to not only are there big trades going on in the NFL, obviously, but big trades going on in the Major League Baseball. And Manny Ramirez going to the Dodgers. What were your thoughts when you first heard that trade go down? And what do you think for all the teams involved, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and the Pirates?
Dodgers got a steal, absolute steal. The Red Sox got what they had to get, and that is just somebody else besides Manny. They, Manny forced their hand. They ended up getting a pretty good player in Jason Bay. And, but Jason Bay's not going to be a headline guy. He's just going to fly under the radar and, just do some good things. But, he's not going to be dynamic. The Dodgers got one of the best right-handed hitters I've ever seen. Certainly, as far as offensively, the Dodgers got significantly better.
Hey, Gracie, so yesterday was the one-year anniversary of Barry Bonds hitting home run number 756. Are you surprised he has not been signed by any team so far?
No, not really. The only place he could go would be in the American League because he's a DH. He can't play left field anymore. And also, Barry is a god. He is a god in the area. The rest of the country, he's kind of the devil. So people don't like him. I like him. I'm a fan of Barry Bonds, and I wish him the best. But really, there's no other place I think he would be able to play besides Oakland.
All right. Mark Grace, thanks again for joining us on the Best Damn Sports Show podcast. Always love having you on Best Damn, and hope to see you again real soon.
You got it.
All right, Gracie, thanks.
Grace.
All right, there you go, Bernie. Mark Grace. Right
Love that
there.
guy. He can talk about everything.
He can. Next week, we promise to have a fantastic guest for everybody.
Of course. The booking department is all over this.
They are doing a really good job.
Great job.
I was thinking about that the other day. We've had some pretty good guests. We've done about 8 or 9 podcasts so far, and I think our guests have we're topping ourselves almost every week.
We had the guy with the most hits in the 90s. How many podcasts can say that?
I'd say probably none.
Exactly.
We're it.
Exactly. We're doing things.
Hey, so again, I'm going to issue this to everybody out there listening. bestdampodcast@yahoo.com. That's the email address. And Bernie, remember what happens? The first person who emails us, they're going to get a phone call.
A special phone call.
A phone call from an athlete or celebrity who will be on the Best Damn Sports Show next week.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Why wouldn't you email us?
Who is on next week, by the way? Summer Sanders?
Well, we've got Summer Sanders on. We've got Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh,
That's
Philly fans, look out. You might be getting a call from Jimmy Rollins. You never know.
Movie star Jason Statham. He really is a bona fide movie star at this point.
Absolutely.
That guy can, what they call in Hollywood, open a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Death Race, right? Is that what he's in?
Yeah.
Death Race.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool. A lot of action.
All right.
A lot of action.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good show. Good show.
It's gonna be a good movie, you think, huh?
Well, I was talking about the show that he's on.
Oh, the show that he's on. The show that he's on is going to be a good show. I don't want to knock Statham's movie before he even comes on the show, but I'm not looking for big things there.
Well, I like the action. I think there's a lot of cool effects. I mean, I'm not.
All right. By the way, Grandmama Larry Johnson also on Best Damn next week.
It's a great one. Love that guy.
So and we're going to get some of the athletes over in Beijing calling in. We'll check in with them. We'll see what they're up to and how things are going over there. So it's going to be great.
It's going to be a great week of shows on Best Damn.
Yep. So we'll be back next week with another brand new podcast. And until then, I'm Jason Cahill.
And I am Bernie.
See you next time.